Hi, this is my first video like this, but I guess I'll talk about my drones instead of fly my drones in this video. So, my name's Tyler, and my channel is Bent Props. And since you're watching this, obviously you've seen my flight videos. And the number one question that I get is, what type of drone do you fly? The answer to that question is always changing because the type of drone that I fly varies depending on the circumstance. But let me talk a little bit about my drones, and I guess in the comments you can ask whatever questions you have that I don't talk about, and I'll make future videos about these. So I think that it begins with the evolution of drone for me, because the first drone that I ever got was one of those $99 piece of crap, like, you know, not even Walmart level drones. But it was like it probably cost them $2 out of China. That was very fun for me because it only really flew in the regular mode, in horizon mode, where you can only go to a certain angle. And it did like this little flip thing. I flew it around the front yard, flew it in the house, and it was really pretty fun for me for a while. But then the batteries sucked. You used little 1S batteries. I didn't even know what 1S was at the time, but it used 1S batteries, and they just wore out and had less than 45 seconds flight time. So I started researching drones, and I was like, hey, what type of drone should I get? That was a tour of my setup. Let me just sit down here for a second, and I'm going to talk about all these guys, because these are the result of all of my testing and research. So my current favorite drone is this one right here. This is an Apex frame. Let me get some better light. Bear with me for 1 second. Okay. And I'm not necessarily used to making videos about this yet, and so like talking like this. So as I mentioned, just bear with me. This here is an Apex frame, HD, with 7-inch arms, and these are 5.5-inch props with a 3.6 pitch, 3.6 angle of attack. These motors are Zing 2s, 2506 at 1850 kV. Don't know if you can read that. I use race pads because I try not to solder here on the ESC because I've had bad experiences of quads blowing up before. And although I have probably the dopest build station, yes, I know, it's not very clean right now, but it's got a lot of useful items. I don't build my own quads. My builder, Ziggy Smalls, builds them. Thank you, shout out Ziggy Smalls. He doesn't fly in the winter, and the last time we were flying, he wasn't posting YouTube videos, but maybe he will at some point in the future. All of these others that I have either run, well, I don't like using the Vista. I just don't like the Vista, I'll say it. I'm a Vista hater. But this right here is the new 03 air unit, and all of the others use the old school DJI air unit. I guess it's old school now. But it's just like, it's a little black. It's a lot lighter, and it definitely makes the drone feel lighter, and it balances the weight better, because when you're flying, you know, I fly now at a 35-degree angle, which is about that. It just compacts all of the mass right here in the middle, not out here at the tail, and that helps with maneuverability. it felt significantly more responsive, this exact same drone with the exact same batteries. We'll have a whole conversation about batteries another time. But this exact same drone did not feel nearly this nimble, and I'm getting a little bit longer flight times as well. I think that this antenna has a little bit more range and better receiving ability than the previous, particularly this short one. So these little short ones, and yes, I have hot glue covering them. These little short ones don't transmit all that well. I got these from that diatone over there. Left it over there, but it was the very first one, the yellow diatone F5. I think it's diatone F5, but they use their own antennas. They're a little bit longer. I think they're high gain antennas. And I prefer high gain antennas because I like flying in the mountains and you can just look at where you want to fly and get twice the range, opposed to like an omni antenna where if you're at a park, that might be more useful. You might want to do a bit of flying behind you. But I personally like to fly up in the mountains. I live here in Utah. Let's look at this. Hang on. I have some older videos. Oh wow, that's completely blown out. The ISO, not ready for that. But I have some other videos of flying in the front yard. And right out my front yard is mountains, essentially. So I use a GoPro 9, and that's only because it's just what's convenient. There's a lot of refurbished GoPro 9s out there. And I don't like how I'm not even going to tell you what I don't like about it, because then you might notice it. This little thing on the top, I put a little bit of hot glue, because the most common break that I got was the lens in that top right corner there. It comes down, lands on top of something, and if it lands on this side, this corner right here, that doesn't really cause the damage. It's when it lands right there on the lens. And so just putting a little hot glue on the top really has saved me a whole lot of lenses. And I use ND filters, and sometimes it's hard to know what ND filter you use if you're a rookie at camera using, like myself. But yeah. This right here is Crossfire, and it took a long time for me to figure out. If you're brand new to FPV, I recommend you just use the DJI goggles, either the V2 or Goggles 2, and the DJI handheld receiver, because it just takes a whole lot of variables out. With it, Crossfire and any other link protocol adds tons of variables that need to be accounted for. And DJI makes it so easy. But I guess we could say, all right, what's the reason? Like, why do I have? So this is my stuff, but why do I have this stuff? I use 2506 motors because the drones, all of these, are quite a bit heavier than what you would consider a traditional race drone. And traditional race drones do quite well with the 2306, 2207 motor size. However, this is a little bit heavier. I think it's probably like 800 grams, I would say, 800 to 900 all up weight. I fly 1200 to 2000 mAh batteries. So it's a pretty heavy beast, but that's okay because these 2506s can handle it. This one has 1500 kV, and this one actually has 2306 here, and it's a little bit sluggish, but you know, it's nice to have a little smaller motor from time to time. I like to fly this in like parks, and this is when I go to the mountains. This is just 5-inch arms, and both of these are 7-inch arms. Don't ask further questions on that. I guess you can if you want, but that's a whole nother story about we used to break a lot of arms. We got a lot of arms over here. This is all the new stuff. Oh, so what's my order? Okay, this is all the new stuff down here. This is all the currently being used, fixed, and or potentially broken, especially over here side. These are the broken, no, these motors are still good, and those motors over there that I showed at the beginning are motors that either have burned up or I want to send back or are just waiting to go into some abstract art design in the future. I don't like 2208. 2208 is not a very good motor for my style of flying. These were the Toka 2306.5. I was really sad when one of these went down. I have 3 good ones remaining, but I don't use them. And then these are 2207s, and I do like 2207s, but I think I like 2306 better on the of those 2 options for the smaller size. But 2506, absolutely one of my favorite motors. I don't like this GoPro mount, but I use it. It's too tall. I wish it was shorter. And this right here was slammed down to there instead of that huge gap, because it kind of, I don't know, with the battery it doesn't make that big of a difference, but I like the smaller profile. Let's see, what else can I say? This wire, I think this wire is way too long, but all these other ones have a much shorter wire, except for this one. This one's way too long too. But that's before our boy Chris Rosser started saying that you should have a short cable. This camera, oh, the camera, yeah, I didn't even talk about this camera. This camera, and I guess that brings attention to what the heck is on this bottom part of my frame. This new DJI O3 camera is pretty big, and for me, it's way back there. So, you know, you see the side profile, you hit something, it's rather protected. And that means that these, you can see these in the top of the frame. And I guess I can post videos from the goggles as soon as I figure out how to do the OSD. Yeah, OSD is broken right now, so I gotta figure that out. But this part right here down on the bottom, that is coated in hot glue, because the most common area that you slam is that front, you know, running into poles and stuff or trees. You slam that front area quite a bit. And so a little bumper layer of hot glue really helps protect. Yeah. Always tighten your bolts after every couple days of flying. If you ever hear any weird vibrations, especially tighten your bolts. Probably a loose bolt. I don't know. That's about it, I guess. You can ask me any questions that you would like in the comments, and I look forward to making future videos. Thank you. This video is created on behalf of the request that I do a build video. There'll be more in the future, but for the time being, this is number 1. I hope you enjoyed it. And since I'm talking, I guess the last thing that I could say is I don't do like Patreon or any of that. I'm self-supported. I don't have sponsors. I am my own sponsor. So thank you for watching my videos. I'll never ask you for money. Bye.